use StatCrunch to create some graphs. In my stat lab, if you'll go down the menu, one of the selections is StatCrunch. We can actually use the data sets provided by our textbook. So I'll choose that link. And the ones we're going to use for our first project come from body measurements, both the males and the females. So I'll click on first the males. That'll open up a tab for males. I'll go back to the previous tab. Click there, that'll open up the data for the females. Now for my example, I'm going to look at the weights. I'm sorry, not the weights, the heights. I believe the heights here are measured in centimeters. So to make it easier to deal with, I'm going to delete the other cells. So what we can do here is press data, I'm sorry, not data, edit, columns, and delete. And here we can select which ones we want deleted. So I could do all of these. You just hit Control, click on the ones you want to delete. I guess I could have done all and then compute. So all I'm left with now for the female body measurements are the height. What I'm going to do now is go over to the males, and I'm going to take the height from the males, just highlight that entire column, copy, Control C, go back over to the female data, just drop it in, paste, Control V for paste. Now the second column I have here right now is for the male, so I'll say male height. Over here, this is for the females, so I'll put female height. Now to create some graphs, click on the graph button here. We'll go down to histogram, and I'm going to choose female heights. All right, press compute. It'll give me a histogram of the females. Do the same thing for the males. Hit graph, histogram, choose male height, hit compute. So now I'm looking at two histograms, one for males and one for females. Now, for comparison purposes, it'd be nice if they actually were on the same axis or the range was the same in both cases. So what you can do here is just double click on one of the numbers along the horizontal axis. And so I'm going to start, let's say, around 140, because that's how low I need to go for the females, and go as high as maybe 200 to include all the males. So over here, double click on the numbers. I'm going to start a minimum at 140, have a maximum of 200, and we're going to have tick marks that go every 10 units. So I'm going to do 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, and 200. And so for future purposes, I'm going to go ahead and copy all that, because I'm going to do the same thing for the females. Press OK, and so here's what I have. All right, I can go over here to the females, also click change the min and the max to the 140 and 200. And copy in the same values we had before. And so 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, press OK. So I should have a graph where you're actually seeing that the males are toward the right side of the graph and the females are to the left side, suggesting that the heights of females tend to be less than the heights of the males. Makes it easy to compare directly here. Other graphs that you might be interested in, the Boxplots. So go to Boxplot. Here I do the same thing, female, and compute, graph, Boxplot, go to male height and compute. Again, I have two Boxplots. but because they're on different axes, it's a little bit difficult to make a comparison. So here I will use the same that I did before, 140 and 200 for max and min. And I'll use the same tick marks. And go over to the other graph and do the same. So now when I put them side by side, the values along the axes match up, and so looking at them side by side makes much more sense. If you'll notice, when you hover over the graphs, they'll give you certain values that are important to that graph. But you look at the histogram and hover, you can kind of see the height of each of the intervals as well as the interval itself. And then once you have the graphs, if you create a Word document, you can easily just copy and paste things into your file. I hope this makes creating graphs for your project much easier.